I did catch up with the Secretary of the Air Force, Heather Wilson, for an exclusive interview. Take a listen.
What we had to lay out, and what we were asked to lay out, was what do we need to implement the national defense strategy given the return of great power competition. And in the past, really for the last 2 decades, the Air Force has been presenting a budget year by year, and it was the Air Force we can afford, not the Air Force we need. We need to set out for our countrymen what is the Air Force we need to do the job that the nation has asked us to do.
And now in terms of how you are building and fortifying the Air Force right now, and given also the fact that there is a focus on cost throughout the broader Department of Defense, how are you looking to do this?
Well, the Congress has given us some new authorities for prototyping and experimentation and to move things faster, and we're doing that across the board. In space, we have a $500 million consortium where we have 188 companies. 124 of them have never even done business with the Air Force before. We put out a solicitation, and we're going from solicitation to contract award in 93 days. We're about to change the way we engage small business, where we do a solicitation. They give us a short concept, we invite them in, and it's 1 day from they do their pitch and they walk out with a signed contract of a 1-page contract and the funds. So if you've got a PayPal account, you should be able to do business with the Air Force.
And how about the role artificial intelligence and other new emerging technologies are playing in the Air Force?
Certainly artificial intelligence and machine learning is a big part of the way we're going to have to innovate faster than an adversary. But we also see it in the way we are doing software. We set up a new software factory in what we call our program digital. It's based out of Boston, but it's nationwide, and we're developing apps much faster, everything from distributing weather information to pilots to doing scheduling for tanker sorties.
I have to get your thoughts on the other big news of the week, the plans to restructure and create this standalone Space Force. Your office put out what is being called the first official estimate on plans to do this, $13 billion over 5 years. How did you get to that number?
If you're going to stand up a new department, it has cost associated with it. You've got to have a secretariat and all the budget people, and you have to have people to recruit and all of the things that an independent department does. We put forward what I think is a bold idea to dominate in space, that the president's going to have a proposal that's tied to his budget next year. But we also don't have to wait until then. The Air Force has a lot of authorities now to continue to accelerate defendable space so that we dominate and win. So we are supporting the president as he develops his proposal for the Congress, and we are not waiting to continue to accelerate our ability to dominate and prevail if called upon to do so.
And of course, this establishment of a Space Force, this proposal to do so, has been somewhat of a controversial issue. The Air Force Association put out its talking points on the topic this week as well, saying, quote, today to split up the well-integrated set of air and space capabilities that have been organized to seamlessly contribute to America's military capabilities would result in more harm than good. Is that the case?
Our objective as the Air Force is to continue to accelerate dominance in space. The president will put forward a proposal with his next year's budget for the Congress and the executive branch to consider. Are there ways to improve things, and what are the problems we're trying to solve, and then how best can we solve those problems? That will be a debate that takes place over the next 6 to 8 months.
How do you assess the risks globally right now, and how, from an Air Force perspective, would you rate readiness in terms of being able to counter that?
Morgan, the United States has returned to an era of great power competition. The national defense strategy recognizes this, and we have to see the world as it is. With a rapidly innovating adversary in China and Russia, you're right that last week they conducted the largest military exercise in Russia than they've had in 4 decades. So we have to see the world as it is and be prepared for that. That means enhancing the lethality and readiness of our force. It also means, as we did with this project that we announced this week, we look at what is the threat doing, where do we project it to be in the 2025-2030 time frame, and then what is the Air Force we need to meet that threat.